How did you get into a place to prepare yourself to be a wife?
And he was like, you know, you're going to be the wife and the mother to my kids. I was like,
how did you get into a place to prepare yourself to be a wife? Also, these carrots, y'all, the carrots are blinging, okay? I'm just being blinded by this beautiful diamond ring over here. Jeez Louise.
thank you.
How did that happen and how did you prepare yourself to become this person?
Honestly, I did not date at all. Like, I was so opposite of what I am right now that I think that people who know, like, everybody is like, she's engaged. What? She has a baby. What? Because I did not date. I'm talking about men that tried to pursue me. It was rejection automatically.
Wow.
But strictly because I had a purpose
Yeah.
and a goal. And I feel as though men kind of deviate you from that.
Very true.
Right? So to begin with, I just wanted to reach my goals. And I feel like when you reach your goals, everybody else just comes.
Yeah.
Everything comes. Like, when you become the best version of yourself, everything comes. So how Michael and I met, again, it just came. I was the best version of myself.
What did that look like?
That caused me to be on Earn Your Leisure's podcast.
Yeah.
I did the podcast and then we started talking after that. That's literally how. That's literally how. And it's crazy when you think about how many people before me were on their podcast. But
right.
Literally, that's how.
I love that.
We started talking and I mean, we just became cool. They had a networking event. I went to the networking event and then I'm going to tell you a real funny story.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you a couple stories. So Michael, don't be mad at me, but I got to tell people, okay? So, it was a networking event in Atlanta. I think it was like their first or second one or something like that. And he saw me walking up the steps. He had followed me on social media and he's like, you know, I've been following you. Like, you pretty dope. That's what's up. But he didn't come on to me, right? We were literally just cool. We just exchanged over. He's like, I want you to be on a podcast, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I got on the podcast and his brother was about to die.
Bam?
No. His name is Rich.
Okay.
His brother was about to die, and I just started praying for his brother. That is how we got close, because I mean, I'm like, I feel things.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why even when I talk about like social media and all these different things where I have to like block what I'm exposed to because I feel things. So I just could not get his brother out of my mind. I'm like, yo, like, is your brother okay? Like, I would constantly check in on him.
Yeah. And
then that led to a friendship. And then he looked into my business. He was like, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. So he just started giving me like business advice. And then that led to us going to lunch multiple times. Then that led to us going on trips multiple times. And I will never forget. We were at a restaurant and he was like, you know, you're going to be the wife and the mother to my kids. I was like, I'm not going to do that until I got $1 million liquid in my bank account.
Come on.
Like, it's one thing to touch $1 million.
Yeah.
But like to
keep
$1 million and to have it liquid is a whole different thing. He was like, you'll have that by the end of the year.
Let's go.
I literally had it in a month and a half. He revamped everything like in my business. And in a month and a half, I had it. And then he was like, so you gonna let me lead you now? That's literally how it happened.
He said, so you gonna let me lead you now?
Yeah.
Well, he proved himself to be a leader. He
had this thing. He was like, you got to let a man lead. You got to let a man lead. And I was like, you know.
You got to give me something to follow.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to. I got to know where we're going.
Let's see what happened here. It's a wise man.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, and I say this all the time, I've had these conversations, is most men these days don't have a lead, but they expect you to follow it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a real lead. You followed it and it worked.
It did. It did.
And now y'all got a baby.
We do.
You planning a wedding?
I know.
Guys, I just want to celebrate you, Jessica, for saying $1 million liquid. Yeah. That's next level. First of all, a lot of people don't have $1 million liquid. Yeah. Most people, like, that's like what, 0.0001%, right? Of America. Because the top 1% is only $427,000 a year. So just some, context to that. But what I love about that is number one, you allowed yourself to be led.
Mhm.
I saw this podcast that said, weak men make women masculine.
Mhm.
Strong men allow women to be feminine.
Mhm.
And it blew my mind because in one of my relationships became masculine, and not
Mhm.
masculine in the sense of let me take you and control you and move you this way, but
Mhm.
controlling in the way of I don't trust the decisions that you make.
Yeah.
I don't trust the way that you move. I don't trust your lead, and I do good all by myself.
Mhm.
So I do well all by myself.
Mhm.
So I don't now I'm trying to like I'm creating space and
Mhm.
differentiation instead of us building towards being one, because I didn't trust, which is why that relationship didn't last very long. But I say that to say, was there anything that you had to do for you to just drop into your feminine to take his lead? Or was it just it was just innate because he was
No,
being
it
who he
wasn't
was?
innate. It wasn't innate.
It wasn't?
It was not. It was not innate. We had many, many conversations because, I mean, when you're single for so long and
Yep.
when you're grinding for so long and
Yep.
when you've accomplished a certain amount of success by
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
to now integrate, even though he did prove himself, it's just like you're so used to and accustomed being this way.
Mhm.
So then I had to now learn. I mean, I even had to learn. I had to learn how to cook. Because it's not that I didn't know how, I just didn't like to. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have a woman that's always on her shit, don't have time
No,
to
we
be
eat out
in
every
the
day.
kitchen for hours
Girl,
upon
I eat out every day.
hours. Like, I did not want to. It wasn't fun. Like, who wants to just sit and get my arm burned by some damn grease popping up? Like, so many different things. But it's like, he told me what he wanted. And I told him what I wanted and what was necessary for me. And so I feel like communication is key also.
Yeah.
And me understanding his thought process and understanding your partner too is really important.
A life hack.
Because even when you talk about trusting somebody, I had to learn, like, there are some things that I lead in, like, for instance, prayer. And God. Michael was born Catholic, so his understanding of religion
is different.
Wasn't like mine. And then I, at the beginning, used to pray like, God, okay, is this the person for me? Because technically he's Catholic, even though that is a form of Christianity. Is like, are we like, I don't want to always be leading the prayers. Like, God, like, okay, if a man is supposed to lead me, he's supposed to lead as the man under God. So it's God, man, woman. So if he's not leading me in my spirit, can he truly be leading me? So that was like something that I really had to like sit down and evaluate and talk through, and like something I struggle with. I talked to my mom about it day in and day out, but Michael's heart was willing. And now it's even at the point where it'll be sometimes he'll be like, come on, we're going to church this Sunday. Or he'll be like every single morning I pray, every night he prays.
Yes.
Together.
Yes. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Like, yeah. Because I remember, I remember this like it was yesterday. We wrote down all our goals. I think this was the beginning of 2021, 2022. One of them.
Okay.
We wrote down our goals, and I put under his get closer to God, right? So we have these like big sticky notepads of all our goals for the new year, right? Yeah. And then we have our short term, our long term, so forth and so on. One of his friends comes over and he saw it. He was like, get closer to God. That ain't happening. Oh. I was like, you can leave. Like,
right.
What? And then I talked to Michael and I was like, yo, like, what's like, I feel like your friends, I feel like people are the adversary because I'm trying to bring you closer and they're like so opposite. But it's like, he's like, yo, like, these are the people that I grew up with. I can't help that that's their thought process. As long as I'm trying and I'm working and I'm willing, then that's what you need to pay attention to. Right. So that was something that even in my heart, I had to really, you know, us women, like, it's like, if you're going to be in the circle, I mean, technically, I'm the one in the circle because, like I just mentioned, his friends were from childhood. But it's like I see so much growth in him. I see it's like you see the person that you are, but then you can see the person that you can become, right? And even though you respect and love the person that you are, you always want anybody that you're associated with to evolve. Yeah. But if people aren't constantly wanting you to evolve with them, how can two walk together unless they agree?
Right. Oh, period. Sheesh. And so that, to me, I'm hearing patience. Because
Yeah.
no one comes perfect, including
Yeah.
us, right?
Yeah.
Like we know that we
Yeah.
all have our
Yeah.
things. But I love that you didn't allow, that wasn't like you can, it's not even that you're compromising, it's that you're being
Mhm.
patient. And I think there's a difference
Mhm.
because obviously being spiritually led for you is
Mhm.
very important. It's important for me too, right?
Yeah.
And so inside of that, it's not saying, oh no, you don't have to be spiritual. It's
Mhm.
saying, I understand that we grew up different and I'm
Mhm.
patient enough to observe enough to see if you're willing to do the growth. And because
Mhm.
he was willing to do the work,
Mhm.
it was like, okay, yes, this makes
Yeah, he
sense.
bought a Bible now. He wants to do Bible study. It's like as long as like I had to see that first.